Hello and welcome to Handy Tutorials. I am Haley. I wanted to figure out a good pattern. I tried so many and they didn't quite have what I thought would make like the very best face mask. And I had been doing some reading and I learned about these awesome shop towels that are supposed to be amazing for filtering. And I also learned that it's best to have a metal nose piece to make sure that it fits best around the face. So I have experimented and tried out all sorts of things, and this is the final product of what I figured out would be the most ideal. So the awesome features about this is that it has a nose piece. Also, you do not sew it all the way in. That way you can remove it before you wash it, which will prevent rusting. Also, it has a pocket on each side. Now, what is helpful with this is that we are adding additional filtering inside. So these blue towels that I read about that are so amazing, this Toolbox brand shop towels, other ones are good as well, but this one in particular performed very well. So you will actually be able to slide additional filters in and use them several times, and then you can just dispose that part but keep the fabric mask. For this tutorial, you will need the pattern. You can find that in the description below and also on my website. You will also need scissors, needle and thread or sewing machine, fabric, blue shop towels or other filtering material, elastic or fabric ties, and a paper clip. So when selecting fabrics, you can use some flannels, you can use jean, you can use quilting fabric. There are a lot of different options. I will include an article in my video description that goes over the different fabrics and what's best or not best. Health professionals recommend that you use 2 different fabrics so that you know which side is the outside and which side is the inside. So you'll need 2 pieces of fabric. Each piece needs to be about 6.5 inches long by 11.5 inches long. So what we will do is fold each piece in half, and then we will cut out our pattern. So now you will have both pieces. They should look like this. The insides pattern facing on the inside so that the outside is the wrong side. And now what we will do is we're going to sew along this edge and along this edge. So now your pieces should look like this. Now this part is optional, so just if you want to have the optional pocket. Okay, again with the wrong side up, you're going to fold over just the smallest bit, press that, and then fold this over. Remember, this is optional. If you want to skip this part, go ahead, but then you will not have the pocket. So now you will stitch along each of these, and that is again optional if you want to have the pocket. Okay, so now we are going to put the right sides facing in, so the wrong sides are out again. So you should see your seam here and also see your seam here. And we are going to stitch from the top. We're going to stitch along here on the top, and we will stitch along the bottom. Leave these open. All right, so I stitched along the top and the bottom, leaving these sides open. You leave that open whether or not you are going to have the pocket, because we need to turn it inside out. So now you'll flip this inside out. And you have your mask. So now we're going to take our paper clip and we're going to stretch it out. You can use needle nose pliers if you need to. I recommend using a smaller, thinner paper clip just so that it's easier to bend around the nose. Is slide this in along the top and use your fingers to kind of press that seam out. There we go. And try to make it even so that the center is up there. So now what you will do is we're going to stitch along this line here. Now, what we're going to do is actually leave it open. Do not stitch this in so that it stays in, because we want to be able to remove it. So that's also what's helpful about having this little removable pocket, at least on one side. So that when you want to remove it, you can just slide it out, wash it, and then reinsert it. That way it's not getting rusty. Okay, so I stitched along there at the top. And what's so great about this is that now you can bend it around your nose so that you have a tighter seal. The last step will be to add your ties. You can use elastic, or you could use some cotton twine or ribbons. For this one, I'm going to use elastic. Usually about 6 inches will be good, but I recommend that you try it out before you sew it in so that you know that it's the right fit. So I have my 2 pieces of elastic. These are 6 inches long. If you want to use other threads or ties or ribbons, I recommend that you have them at least 6 inches, probably more like 8. And then that way the person can just tie it to whatever will fit their ears the best. You can also leave these extra long and actually tie it behind your head and neck. Those of you who decided to not do the pocket, see here, you're just going to fold the fabric in and you will set your elastic or your ties in there and you will just stitch across. Those of you who want the pocket, you will just stitch the top bit just to catch the tie or the elastic. So I'm going to go in now and stitch the top elastic in there and the bottom of the elastic here. So if you're using elastic, just 1 6-inch piece for each side. So I finished stitching those in and we've got our pocket on the side. So now what you can do is you can take the towel and you can cut it either exactly to fit, or you can just kind of cut about that size. And we're gonna need it a little bit shorter. And now what we can do is slip this blue towel as an additional filter inside of the mask. So we'll slide it in here. And the other side's open as well, so that you can easily grab the other end and smooth it out. So we have the filter in there now, which we can easily remove when it's done. The filter will last for several washes and then it will need to be changed. And the paper clip you will want to remove, so you can go ahead and just peek in there. You'll be able to find the paper clip. Slide that out before you wash it, and then you can go ahead and slide it back in after it's laundered.